I remember a long time ago when I was in my teens working with a young girl who couldn't spell and read, and I was fascinated with trying to figure out how her mind worked and how I can help her learn the things that were difficult for her. I went to University of Michigan for a bachelor's in education and a teaching certificate, and my major was early childhood because I was so interested in the way the mind learns early in life. I began tutoring children and realized that dyslexia is the biggest issue for children in school. So in any classroom there will be a couple of children that struggle in this way. These children have this amazing potential that needs to be developed and break out like a butterfly breaks out of a chrysalis. These children have a lot of qualifications that are very mature at this time, but it's the reading and spelling that's difficult for them. They have good social skills, they have the ability to see the big picture, they have really great, strong compassion and empathy for others. They have an ability to lead people very often and to manage people. They have adult skills in a small body. These children bring a really wonderful perspective to everything because they have the big picture and they see how things relate to each other. But they begin to feel that they're not very smart because they're not reading and spelling like their peers. They are very often very hard workers, and they are working much harder than teachers realize. The homework takes them a long time because it's so difficult, but they keep at it. They're responsible. And so I find these children to be very rewarding, even though they're easily distracted and even though learning seems to not be coming together easily for them. You know, a lot of times in classrooms, teachers need to keep children under control, and so they're not very willing to allow children to express their ideas or improve things. Because I work with children one-on-one, I'm able to allow them to make suggestions about how they learn, suggestions about how I might be able to do something better. It's quite often that I tell a child, I am going to have to write that down and I'm going to have to use it in the future because that is a really good idea. Thank you. And so these children are valuable to me. They are so fun to work with. The latest research shows that their auditory and visual modalities aren't linked neurologically. So in their brain, these areas are not firing together when they read. So my job is to help glue those modalities together, and the way I do that is by having them touch something while they're looking at it and saying the sounds at the same time, multisensory. As I said earlier, these children have great strengths, and so I'm able to use those strengths to help them begin to strengthen their weaknesses. When I begin the assessment process with a child, I need to find out from the parents the child's educational history, their developmental history, and that type of thing. So I first meet with the parents, and then the assessment for the child can take 4 or more hours, and I do that over 2 sessions because it is quite exhausting for the children. So they would come to my home, usually on a weekend, and I would work with them 2 hours at a time and have them go through the tests that measure processing and also achievement. When I work with a child, it can very often take a couple years to remediate. It takes a long time for the children to learn each individual spelling rule and skill, but they do need to learn it individually one at a time in that multisensory way that I talked about earlier. I reward them for each task that they do for me. So I have them either work for play money that they can spend in my store, or I have them work for nickels or pennies, and some of the younger children really are motivated by just collecting bags and bags of shiny pennies. This way, I encourage the children to be excited and be engaged in the learning because they are rewarding themselves for the learning. I know that these children need to feel cared about. If they think that their teacher doesn't like them very much, they will not be able to learn. So a lot of what I do is talk to them and ask them how they're doing and keep up with how things are going. I have attended dance recitals and plays and things that the children are involved in because I think it's very important for them to know that I care about them. I think that's what helps them continue to be engaged because they know I care. The other exciting thing is that I really see the change. I can see how from the tests I give at the beginning and then at the end, I can see that children's reading can sometimes come up 2 and 3 grade levels. One of the things I've really enjoyed since I've learned about dyslexia is making presentations about it and help other people in the education field know what this really important situation is and that these children are being left behind. These children, they are able to overcome dyslexia. They will have it all their lives, but they are able to be successful in life and to be confident. And that's really the goal of working with them.